Welcome to another episode of the Comicstorian. Today we will be exploring the DC Rebirth, Wonder Woman Year 1. This is a retelling of how she got to leave the island, met Steve Trevor, and met some of her initial enemies. But before we can move forward with the story, I need to let you know that Warner Brothers is sponsoring this video. They've got an app game known as DC Legends, a wonderful game in which you get to take some of your favorite DC heroes and villains and put them into an RPG-esque fighting system where you get to combine their abilities and fight against the onslaught coming in from the multiverse. To celebrate the release of the Wonder Woman movie, they have brought out 4 new characters and a whole bunch of new features, from red alerts to alliances. The new updates have it all. Right now, we've got Wonder Woman from the movie, we've got Queen Hippolyta, we've got Dr. Poison, and an unknown mystery 4th character. I know who that character is, but we will not tell you because we're not supposed to. But they are epic. If you want to check out the game and see all of the improvements and characters that have been brought into the game, then stick around after the video as we are going to go much more in depth into the 3 new characters, Wonder Woman, Queen Hippolyta, and Dr. Poison. The 4th character we will be showing you in a later video, but I truly am enjoying this game. I definitely played it when the game first came out and then kind of put it aside, but all of the improvements that they've brought into the game are really incredible, and I am 100% hooked yet again. I seriously have an app game addiction. I need to go to app game rehab. What would that be? Just like no phone? Anyway, guys, let's go ahead and move forward with the Wonder Woman Year 1 storyline and stick around to check out some of the gameplay. As the star shines bright, the women of Themyscira look up at the skies to observe the wonder that the gods have given them. Among them is Princess Diana, who does not look up but rather towards the water's edge. As Diana and Kassaya walk down the stairs into the city, Kassaya asks why is it that she does not look up at the stars when they gather. Diana tells her that she can see the beauty of the heavens, and she can see the poetry in their motion, but all they do is bear witness to it. They all can recall a world that they've left, even if the memories should bring pain. But for her, she has never seen what's beyond their shores. So is it really a wonder why her eye would look towards the horizon instead of towards the skies? She returns to her home before dawn, and Queen Hippolyta welcomes her daughter home and asks if she would like to send some arrows with her queen and her general. Diana hugs her, telling her that she is not much in the mood for shooting with the queen, but it would make her happy to go shooting with her mother. They head over to the archery fields, and Diana takes aim with her bow, and as she fires, she hits only the side of the target. Philippus says that she missed. She tucked her thumb, and Diana sighs, stating, yes, she knows. But perhaps her mother would like a turn. Hippolyta laughs, telling her, oh no, she's more than happy to see Philippus pick on someone else's technique for a change. So go ahead. Diana says right, and she knocks 2 arrows and pulls. Philippus tells her to only shoot 1 at A, but as Diana releases, 2 arrows fire, passing to 2 separate targets. Diana bows to her mother, telling her that it is now her turn. As the days and the months pass, Diana continues to fulfill her duties as a woman of Themyscira, but still finds herself staring off into the horizon, wondering the same question over and over. What is life like across the shores? One day while riding her horse in the fields, Diana found something that normally she would not have noticed out there. As she stares over into the twisted withered tree, she asks herself, how has she never noticed this before? While looking up at it, she reaches to touch it, and just as her hand gets close, a serpent lunges out, biting her by the wrist. Time passes, and Diana returns to the shrine to thank the gods for their care, granting her a recovery after such a long time. She washes her face, and the voice of Castelia says that it's good to see her after so long. An illness. Many people were worried. Diana tells her that that was not her intention, and Castelia says that she knows, but can she still not remember what happened? Diana thinks on it, and all she can recall is that there was a snake, and then she awoke sometime later. Castelia opens the stone doors to the altar of Harmonia, saying that their gods speak around the world, but rarely in their own voice. It is up to them to interpret their message. The illness, the recovery, all of these must be messages, a gift from the patrons to them, the daughters of Harmonia and Ares. She goes on saying that their gods have given them many things. When called, each of them must be willing to give back to them, and that time is coming. As the darkness of the night fills the skies, the women of Themyscira stare into the sky to stargaze as they always do. But this time, as Diana looks out towards the sea, she sees something burning, heading their way. Diana shouts that there must be something, and they all head to the shores. Oreto says that they have been discovered, and down by the beach, the women discover a machine of some kind has crashed. And among that wreckage, the bodies of men. Diana looks around and she feels a tug at her foot, and one of the men struggles, asking for them to please Help them. The following morning, Queen Hippolyta gathers her council to go over their findings of the men who crashed upon their shores. Ares stands, stating that she is prepared to present their preliminary findings. After pulling something out and passing it to the table, she says that this is based on their current assessment and they can assume that these men were warriors. All of them wore arms, wore a form of armor, and displayed identical signia along with red, white, and blue emblems. As she looks at the patch, Ares explains that eagle undoubtedly clutches Poseidon's trident. But as for the other object, she would like to present this. Areto holds out a gun and then fires it to the vase, and the women stare, asking, "What was that?" Areto goes on saying that all of the men were armed with similar weapons, each having range that far surpasses their best archers. Philippus says that these men came for war, but Castalia stops her, telling her that they couldn't have. The patrons permitted them to be here. They were brought to them because they are in dire need of help. Hippolyta looks at the patch and mentions that the eagle's head is bound, representing one who will meet battle but does not seek it. Gods are speaking to them, and what they are saying is how Themyscira should answer the question. As the council continues, Diana watches over the recovery of the only man to survive the crash. He wakes up and looks around, asking, "Where's Nick? Where am I?" Diana rushes over to the man, telling him it's all right, he's going to be fine. But as she talks, the man says that he doesn't understand her language. She smiles, telling him, "We will keep you safe. My name is Diana." And the man responds with, "Steve." Steve says that he remembers that their plane was going down and his friends, they're all dead, aren't they? He cries at the loss of his brother in arms, and Diana holds him, telling him that she is so sorry. Back with the council, Hippolyta says that it is decided a champion will be chosen and sent to return this man to his world. This man, the survivor, is their key. He will reveal the enemy to both his people and theirs, for that she is certain. Areto asks her to reconsider. To name a champion would damn one of their sisters to eternal exile. Anyone who leaves can never return to this paradise. Their immortality would be forfeit. She would be a woman in a world of men. Castalia tells her not the only one. She would be the only Amazon. The men of the world best beware. As the council ends, Hippolyta returns home and asks Diana if she went to see the survivor. Diana says that she did, and he calls himself Steve, though she could not understand him. What she could tell is that he loved his fellow man. Hippolyta sits, saying that they are moving the games to tomorrow, and with it, the winner will be named a champion, and they will bring this man back home. The champion will be their ambassador, an Amazon without a home, and she will never be able to return to Themyscira again. So, with her still recovering, no one would think less. Diana says that others may not, but she would think less of herself. She could not proudly call herself the daughter of Hippolyta, were she not to try. Hippolyta holds her daughter's face and kisses her forehead, telling her that she always makes her proud. And the next morning, the women prepare for the games. Hippolyta tells everyone that the chosen champion will be their ambassador. She will speak with their voice, not just as the defender of the Amazons, but as the protector of all of those who dwell beyond their shores. She will leave her home, her friends, and all that she has ever known, and she will leave her immortality, never to return. This will be her sacrifice, Themyscira's gift to the world, their champion. So let the games begin. The Amazons participate in a series of tests and battles, and in the end, only 3 stand, one of which is Diana. Hippolyta says that there will be one final test. Grabbing Steve's gun, she tells them that this is a weapon from man's world, and they must learn to defend against it. The first Amazon steps forward, and Hippolyta tells her that she must parry her shot, and Sophia says that she understands. Hippolyta pulls the trigger, and Sophia is shot in the shoulder. Hippolyta tells her that though her effort was valiant, no shame rests upon her. Now, the next must prepare to defend herself. The next Amazon steps forward, and as the gun is fired, the bullet hits the vambrace, but ricochets, hitting her in the stomach. The Amazon falls to her knees, and Hippolyta then calls Diana forward, telling her to parry the shot. Diana looks forward, holding her wrists together. And then later that night, Steve looks at the repaired jet, saying that he knows no one can understand him, or he understand them, but he really doesn't understand how they fixed his plane and made it invisible. Steve notices that the women are bringing his friends aboard, stating that they are sending them all home, and for that he thanks them. Hippolyta announces for everyone to behold their gift to the world, their champion. Diana walks down the steps, and Hippolyta bestows the perfect, telling Diana that this is forged by the patrons, given to them as a symbol of trust in them, and now the people entrust it to her. Hippolyta and Diana hug as Hippolyta cries, and Diana tells her that she will return. Hippolyta tells her not to make such promises, and with that, Diana and Steve board the invisible jet, and they take off to leave Themyscira, never to return. Along the beach, the invisible jet makes its way towards the shore and it crashes. Steve opens the door as everyone stares and he asks if he could, borrow someone's phone for a moment. He's got to make a call. A little while later at the naval base, the soldiers all stand around the car as Steve and Diana get out. One of the men informs Steve that Commander Michaelis is waiting for him. As the soldiers direct Diana where to go, she calls out to him and then pushes the man, grabbing her away. The other soldiers all draw their guns and Steve shouts, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! Everyone calm down." And he tells Diana that this man man did not mean anything. It wasn't an attack. She just needs to go with him for a bit, that's all. But he knows that she really can't understand him, so he promises that he'll be back. She nervously looks around and Steve tells her to trust him. As she lowers her arms, she repeats, "Trust me." Steve smiles, telling her, yes, he does. And Diana repeats, "I do." A short while later, at the medical examiner's office, McKellis asks who the hell is that woman? And Steve says that what he's going to say, he will not believe. The examiner goes over the charts and pulls McKellis aside, telling him that he isn't understanding. Mr. Trevor had his appendix removed when he was 9. Well, whatever they did, it's back. Later, in the briefing room, McKellis says all of their findings on this woman in her jet that is now suddenly disintegrating is very fascinating. But that doesn't change the fact that the mission was a failure. Their intelligence officer is confident that the Seer group is still operational and planning something big. As Steve awaits his orders, Lieutenant Etta Candy lays a folder on the table, saying that she will try and make this quick. She holds up a picture of Diana, saying that they all need to talk about his new friend. McKellis shared the debrief, talking about an island of women out of a Gladiator movie. Etta says that the technology that they have is what you would expect from an afternoon science fiction feature, which is hard enough to believe, except her gear is better than anything that they can make. The plane literally is an invisible jet, and it didn't fall apart as much as it decomposed. And she's 6'2" in her bare feet. Steve hastily says that they can't keep her there. She's got to be scared. All he can say is that she is something else. She's a friend, and she's here to help them. As night comes, Diana sits in her cell, alone, thinking about how this was all a mistake. She should have stayed on the island. The people out here are afraid of her, and she does not know how to make them understand. She just wants to go home. A voice calls out to Diana, and Diana looks up to see an owl by her bed, and then several others. The next morning, Etta brings in Dr. Barbara Ann Minerva to assist in trying to translate. The two, along with Steve, enter the brig, and Diana jumps up shouting, "Steve! Etta!" Barbara Ann begins to speak in Diana's language, and Diana shouts, "Yes! She's Diana, the daughter of Hippolyta, 10th queen." And Barbara responds, telling her to speak slower. Please. Is Themyscira her home? The island of Ares? That place is a myth to them. Diana shouts, "Last night she was visited by the patrons, Athena, Artemis." And Steve then asks, "Did she just say Athena?" And Barbara says yes. She says that the gods came to visit her last night. Etta says that there was no one here last night other than her. She watched the footage herself. Diana continues saying that the patrons really visited her in the form of animals, and they gave her gifts so that she can help survivor Steve. Barbara, without responding to Diana, turns back saying she is claiming to have been visited by the Greek gods, which is absurd. She believes in gods that don't exist. Etta says that there's an alien flying around Metropolis, so anything is possible. Barbara Ann explains that extraterrestrial life is scientifically sound. This is a belief in the supernatural. But before she can go on, Diana shouts for them to listen to her, and there's a loud crunch. Everyone looks back to see Diana holding the now ripped off cell door. Diana says that they gave her gifts, and Barbara Ann says that she stands corrected. To help Diana adjust to a different culture, the three take Diana to a shopping district, and Diana shouts that it's very loud here. Barbara Ann tells her that there are many stores and shops, and they use music to attract attention. Diana continues looking at everyone and says that they are men and women, small men and women and children and babies. And Barbara Ann asks if she wishes to leave. She knows that it can all be overwhelming. Diana tells her no, this is good, this is wonderful. Etta suggests that they should get something to eat, and Steve shouts that they should get Diana a churro. Barbara Ann tells him no way, those are pure sugar and they will make the poor thing sick to her stomach. As the three try to figure out what to eat, Diana looks around observing the people with two children walking by telling her hello. She kneels down saying hello, and the little girl says that she likes her outfit, and she responds with Diana. As she smiles, the children run away and wave, and Barbara Ann tells her that she makes friends easily. She says that there are no children where she comes from. She was the only one. Barbara Ann says that she would like to hear more about her home, but first they should get a meal. Perhaps dinner? Diana responds with dinner. Yes, please. And Steve shouts, hey, he understood that. As the four sit down, Barbara says that she has a question. These patrons, they came to give gifts, right? And Diana tells her yes, they gave themselves to her. So Barbara Ann asks, what specifically did they give to her aside from strength? She tells her that she does not know. They said that she will learn of them as they're needed. Some gifts will be clear and others, well, their purpose is to be discovered. She holds out the perfect, saying that this was given to her people before she was born, and still its purpose is unknown to them. Etta looks at the lasso and Diana says that its power is, but Etta finishes stating, unmistakable. Etta shouts that she can understand her, and then everyone else quickly grabs a hold of the perfect. But before they can continue talking, the sounds of an automatic gun begins to go off and someone shouts, gun! Etta and Steve instinctively start moving the civilians out of the shooter's view. And as Etta tends to a wounded man, she says that she sees 5, possibly more. Steve pulls out his gun and he starts to fire back, but before one of the shooters can fire again, Diana's lasso wraps around him, telling him no. She then pulls back, disarming the man, and he pulls out another gun, so she wraps his arm up again, telling him that she said no. Up in the balcony, one of the shooters aims for the little children that Diana met earlier, and just as the young girl shouts for her mommy, Diana begins to move. She runs faster than the bullets being fired, deflecting all of the bullets with her van braces. The shooter stares, and as Diana jumps up to the balcony, she throws the lasso, flinging Steve up to her. The shooter aims his gun at Diana, but before he can fire, Steve is thrown into the side of him, kicking the man down. He starts to rip his shirt off to cover the victim's wound, and he says that Etta spotted 5, so there's 2 left. Diana asks, why would they do this? Why would they make this their battlefield? The 2 remaining shooters begin to fire down on Diana and Steve from another rooftop, and one pulls out a grenade. Steve says, oh God, but as the grenade is thrown, Diana leaps off of the balcony, catching it, and then she covers the blast with her own hands. As the police and the medical arrive, EMTs take over for Etta, and she asks, where are Steve and Diana? Barbara Ann says that there is no need to find them. Just look up. Diana floats down with the remaining shooters, and Diana asks Barbara if her and Etta are unharmed. The shirtless Steve tells the officers that these men are all theirs, but while Steve and Etta look at one of the shooters, they unbutton his shirt, and Diana says that she's seen this symbol before. Steve tells her that it is the Seer Group. Back at the naval base, Commander McKellar says that thanks to their friend, they now have 4 members of the Seer Group in their custody, which is 4 more than they have ever captured alive. None of them are willing to say a damn thing, other than thank his will shall not be denied. McKellar then holds up a picture of the symbol on the man's chest and says that Barbara Ann mentioned that she had seen this before. Barbara Ann says that it was 5 years ago, tattooed on a man who's been a foreman at a dig that she worked in Ukraine. However, he died in North Africa. Etta asks what are they looking for, and Barbara Ann goes on to state that they are searching for physical evidence of the Amazons, and they did find it. The site was later destroyed by an act of God. Outside, Diana walks up to Steve while talking to a hawk on her arm. As the hawk flies off, Steve asks if she can talk to animals now, and Diana tells him yes. Because of the perfect, she can understand things more easily. He then says that it's kind of a neat trick that she can show her friends back at home, and Diana hangs her head, stating she can't go home. She left home not for him, but because she must. As the 2 watch the sunset, Steve asks if that was the queen that was crying. Was that her mother? And Diana tells him yes. Steve then says that it must be very hard. So did she leave someone special? Like someone really important? Diana says Cassia. Her name was Cassia. And as the 2 look at the horizon, she reaches out, grabbing Steve by the hand, and the 2 watch as the sun sets. Later, back at the base, Steve and Diana go see Barbara Ann and Etta as they go over the information that they have in the Seer Group. Diana asks why would people want to make war when there is peace, and Barbara Ann says that that is something that they do not know. They do this all around the world, but from what they can tell, they resent the way that some people worship or where other people live and who they love. Barbara Ann hands over a picture of the tree symbol, stating that she has seen this symbol before, yes? She has seen it once before on a man when she was searching for the home of the Amazons. Her home, she believes. Diana says that she saw this weeks before Steve came to Themyscira. She found it as if it appeared from nothing, a tree made of darkness. Diana grabs her wrist and says that she will speak with the Seer Group of men and find the truth. Later, the 4 men are set down, and Diana tells each of the men to touch the lasso and tell her the truth. Each of the men begin to panic, all shouting that there's nothing that anyone can do to stop what is coming. So many people are going to die. Oh God, please forgive them. A short while later, Etta says that it's called the Mara virus. It was based off the Soviet-era combat drug from the Cold War, and it looks like the Seer Group developed a weaponized version of it. Steve goes on stating that it floods the adrenal system, impairing the prefrontal cortex, and it makes its victims violently lash out at any and everyone around them. Diana asks if this is what makes them fight. Steve tells her no, and makes them kill. And they will keep killing until they are stopped, or the virus has killed them. Etta explains that the purpose of Steve's mission was to find a way to defend against this virus when they located the lab where the virus is manufactured. But the plane went down, and by the time they could send another, everyone was gone. As everyone talks, Barbara Ann pulls Diana aside, stating that she would like to show her something. She says that this might be silly, but after looking at the letters and rearranging them, you sometimes get another word or a name. And what she got was the letters that said Ares Group. Ares was not a patron that she listed among the other patrons, was he? And Diana tells her that he is not. He is madness, just like the poison that Etta speaks of. But before Diana can go on, there's a massive explosion, knocking both her and Barbara Ann down. Diana looks up and hears a voice calling to the Princess of Amazons. Without a second thought, Diana leaps at Ares, shouting for him to let go of Steve. And Ares effortlessly swings back, knocking her down, stating she must have forgotten herself. Ares then takes Steve, slamming him onto the hood of a car, saying, "He has something that I require, being the first man to set foot on Themyscira." Steve then tries to cut at Ares' arm, but his knife crumbles to dust and he says that he must have been born under a lucky sign. Ares places his hand over Steve's face and Steve begins to scream. But before Ares can go any further, Diana charges in, ramming into him, pushing him away. Ares stands up telling Diana, "That is twice that you have struck me. The third time will be your death." Diana shouts that she has no choice. She knows of the madness that he would unleash, the poison thine agents spread. She begs thee, Warbringer, turn from this blood rage, thou patron of warriors. She kneels before Ares and he asks, "You would supplicate yourself on their behalf? You know nothing of their world or their ways, yet you would plead for them?" She says that she pleads for peace, dire war. She pleads for life. Ares tells her that he would have something in return then. Diana says that she would give thee anything to spare these mortals. Ares goes on stating that he will offer a trade. It has been a god's age since he has last seen his daughters. He would visit with them in their home. The survivor's mind will not yield that which he seeks. So it now falls to her to tell him where he might find the hidden land of the Amazons. Diana looks up and then lowers her head, saying that it is hers to grant, that knowledge is thine. Ares reaches down into Diana's head and his hand begins to sink inside of her mind. But as he struggles, he stumbles back, asking, "How do you not know?" Steve runs over to help Diana up, and she tells him that it was her sacrifice to come defend this world, a sacrifice that she did not fully understand until this moment. She has come here to defend this world against him, dire war. Ares shouts that her mission here has failed before it has ever begun. At this moment, those who worship him create poisons to awaken the sleeping embrace unto their very children. They teach his ways in school. Lost little princess, this world already belongs to me. As Diana stands on her own, she then says that from him, they will take it back. She runs forward, but before Ares can attack, the gods all assist in distracting him. Diana manages to wrap the lasso around him and then pulls the cord, ripping into his body. Michaelis asks if she just killed the god of war, and Barbara Ann tells him that they'd be hardly gods if it were that simple. One of the gods swoops by, grabbing Barbara Ann's phone and lands on Steve's shoulder, handing the phone over. After looking at it, Steve shouts, "Never mind, the owl showed me that the Seer groups plan to attack across the world." Etta takes the phone, looking at the locations, and then says they are targeting the United Nations. He looks back at Diana and she grabs him, taking off into the air. As the two reach the UN, the officers tell them that they ran a chemical sweep and found nothing. Steve says that that can't be right, but Diana thinks back on Ares' words. He said that they were teaching their children. Seconds later, she bursts through the doors to the auditorium where the children are being held, and the Seer group opens fire. Steve starts to evacuate the children, but as one of them fires, the bullet ricochets off the Vambrace into the tanks of gas. The hazmat team seal it up, leaving Diana inside, and Steve tells them to wait. As Diana inhales the poison, she tries to fly away, crashing into the walls, and then she grabs one of the men, asking if this is what they want for their children. She throws the man aside, telling him, "I will kill you. I will kill you. I will not be this." She forces herself to get back up, unwrapping herself in the lasso, shouting, "This is not true." A bright light begins to radiate from Diana, and then it fades. Steve pushes through the hazmat team, going inside to see Diana, and then he hugs her. A few days later, Etta and Barbara Ann take Diana out to eat to let her try a tequila surprise. As she sips her drink, Steve asks if they've decided anything yet, and Etta tells him no, they were busy trying to drink. Steve throws down a stack of newspapers, stating that everyone else has settled on a name. Diana says that she already has one, and Steve laughs, stating, "Well, they're gonna give you another one, and your name is Wonder Woman." Now that wraps up the Wonder Woman Year 1 Rebirth retelling of her first years. Don't forget, this is a retelling. Wonder Woman is one of my favorite superheroes. I've always enjoyed her storylines, and if you want to see some more awesome storylines, I do have a whole bunch of videos for the New 52 run already up on the channel, and the link to that playlist will be down below. We're going to be wrapping up that storyline as well. It's a great storyline that is pretty much standalone on its own. But now, like I told you, Warner Brothers is sponsoring this video, and what that means is that now I'm going to show you some of the amazing characters in the DC Legends game for the Wonder Woman movie. So anyway, let's go ahead and have a look at some of these characters and go over some of their moves and why you should be coming back to the game right now. This month alone, if you log in every day, you will get a free Wonder Woman character with upgrades. Why not come back right now? Let's go ahead and check out the characters. Before we move into actually showing you some of their moves, I want to show you the 3 characters that they gave us to show to you guys. Now keep in mind, they did give us enough to upgrade the characters to 1-star legendary, but being a huge fan of this game as I am, I already upgraded them beyond that. So first up, we have Hippolyta, the Queen of the Amazons. She's a very much support character with different abilities such as shielding your team or attack buffing your team, but she also has an awesome ability known as the assist ability, where she'll go in and attack the enemy and then bring in someone else to help out. It leads to some really epic looking scenes in your battles. Next up, we have Dr. Poison, the Master of the Toxic. And as I was told, because I was messing around with her and I wasn't quite sure what to do with her, she adds bleed effects onto your enemy, and she also heals your team. She completely replaced Zatanna for me. That's partially because I don't have Zatanna at Legendary, but either way, this character can heal your team and poison the other team, hence her name, Dr. Poison. And then of course, the last character on our roster is Wonder Woman herself, but the movie version of the Wonder Woman. Now, I cannot tell you how much I actually love the costume that they gave her. They gave her the cloak version with like the tiara, but like a face mask kind of a thing. It's really awesome, and she makes a great tank on your team. She has a taunt ability, she has a self-heal ability, and she has the ability to steal buffs off of the enemy, and then if you are passing legendary upgrades to it, pass it along your team. It's a really strong character that if you log in right now for the month of June, you can get for free. So let's go ahead and look at their actual abilities, because they're pretty epic as well. Bear in mind, my team that I brought into this fight included the other Wonder Woman character who has been in the game since the launch of the game. So first up, we've got Wonder Woman with an AoE lasso maneuver that hits everyone and then slams them down. I really don't know where she gets the rock from, but whatever, it makes for a very effective maneuver. Between every turn, you can see the Wonder Woman tank character actually is taunting for my team, allowing her to take a ton of damage. Luckily, I have Hippolyta to put a shield onto the tank Wonder Woman, and Dr. Poison to go ahead and, you know, heal up my Wonder Woman. Now, one thing that you will notice is Hippolyta is a full-blown support character. Basically, you can either pick to attack buff your team or to give them shields. Since these enemies were kind of weak compared to my team, I definitely went with more of the attack buff early on, but I do show you guys the shields in a bit. Now, the next move that was used is the Wonder Woman ability, where she grabs one enemy and then is unblockable. She completely destroys the enemy. It does a ton of damage. Sometimes it doesn't kill them, but every time in my little weaker fight here, I was definitely wrecking the enemy. So right here is one of Dr. Poison's moves. Remember how I said she can heal and she can throw poison and bleed on your enemies? This is the AoE poison bleed maneuver, and I guess her legendary abilities, I didn't go into this area, but one of the guys in my team was telling me they did this. Apparently, you can put bleed on one guy and it spreads to the entire opposing team. Sounds like a crazy PvP maneuver, but I haven't actually gotten to try these characters out in PvP just yet. And that is just a little bit about what's going on with the Wonder Woman update in the DC Legends game right now. Now, I'm gonna make a video explaining a lot of the stuff that they've brought into the game to really make it a fun and enticing game, because overall, when the game first launched, there was a lack of content. I mean, there was plenty to do, but eventually you would cap out your characters. There is so much to do now, it's not even funny, and I've just been playing the heck out of this game non-stop, and you guys definitely need to check it out. So anyway, don't forget, this video is sponsored by Warner Brothers, but I play the heck out of At Games, and I pretty much was already playing this when they said, do you want to show off the characters? And I was like, yeah, I want to show off the characters. But we'll see you next time right here at Comicstorian. I hope you guys enjoyed the video on the origins of Wonder Woman. Let me know in the comments down below what your favorite team on DC Legends is. Overall, personally, up till now, I've been using Reverse Flash, Supergirl, Hawkgirl, and Zatanna, but I have a very strong feeling with these new characters, my current roster is going to rotate entirely out. So we'll go ahead and check that out later. And don't forget, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Comicstorian, and you can also follow our Discord where we are talking about DC Legends. I'll talk to you guys later right here.